Hello and welcome to the Goalist podcast. I'm your host, Alicia. Today is a special episode, no guest, but I'm going to talk about how I crossed off one of the coolest goals on my entire list. I have always wanted to go to the Price is Right. I never thought that I would even be chosen as a contestant, let alone win. But that is exactly what happened. And of course, for the past few months, I haven't been able to say anything about what happened. So it's been hard. I did recently do an episode where I spoke to somebody about their experience going on the show, but we weren't able to film it until after I went. It was part of what inspired me to do this goal now. We were actually in the middle of scheduling the time that we were going to talk, and I looked at the schedule of The Price is Right, and the season was winding down. So I knew that if I wanted to do this goal soon, it's now or later, not never. So I made it happen before the season ended, and I did not expect everything that happened to happen. So if you want to learn how to go to the show, how to get tickets, watch that episode. I think it's number 5. This episode, I'm going to talk just about my own experience and what happened crossing off that goal. So like I said, it was kind of a last minute thing. I had been trying to solicit people to go to game shows, specifically The Price is Right with me, for months. I was having a hard time getting people because they do film. They film about 3 episodes a day, like 8 a.m., 11 a.m., I think it's 2 p.m. They're only on the weekdays, and there's only a few weekdays that they do them. So people would have to take off work to go with me. To me, it was totally worth it, especially with how it ended. So I ended up having somebody who was willing to go with me, and we just coordinated our schedules and went to the show that worked for both of our schedules with a few weeks left of filming. I always thought that I'd want to go to an 8 a.m. showing, that maybe there'd be less people. I'd have more likelihood of being chosen. But we ended up going to the 2 p.m. or the afternoon. It was all planned so last minute. Something I always said was when I go to the Price is Right, I'm going to make a shirt, and in big sparkly letters, it's going to say, "Drew, help me pay my student loans." Student loans are a little bit of a contentious topic right now, but what I did was not far off. So the day before, I went to Michael's and I bought a couple of plain shirts. We chose a color that we thought would stand out, but that other people wouldn't have. So I actually looked at pictures of the audience. We saw a lot of pink, a lot of red, yellow. We decided to go with this deep blue, like cobalt blue. We wanted something that would stand out. I also picked out some iron-on letters. They were running low on iron-on letters. So I got one pack of sparkly and one that was more sport-like. And I went home and I realized I had less letters than I thought I had. Really, this whole t-shirt thing was just a lot of fun. My friend ended up going with "Hi Mom," which I thought was really cute. We wanted fun things on our t-shirts that you don't usually see in the audience. I wanted to do something around LA Rent or avocado toast. So I landed on "Drew, please help pay my LA rent." And I didn't have enough letters, so it came out a little less polite than I wanted it to. I know on a podcast you can't see, but there is a video version on YouTube, and I have the shirt with the evidence of the name tag sticker, the traditional block letter. Are these block letters? I don't know, but just the traditional price tag sticker. So yeah, this is what I went with. Drew helped pay my LA rent. And what's funny about the t-shirts is I got home and I realized I didn't even have an ironing board and I didn't know where my iron was. I did ask friends, but in the meantime of waiting for them to respond, I pulled out my hair straightener and I went through it and I used my hair straightener on every individual letter. I was really stressed because I was like, is this going to be done in time? So yeah, that was fun. And then the day of, we were getting ready to go, and I was thinking of wearing my, I have this black sequin blazer, and I actually almost didn't wear it. And my friend was like, no, you should bring that. That's gonna help you stand out. Because I was thinking, this isn't let's make a deal where you dress up in costumes. I want to stand out, but I also didn't want to do anything too extra. So I had my shirt, my blazer. I was totally thinking that we needed to get there way early, which I still recommend, but I was wanting to get there an hour early because I wanted to make sure this was a huge goal of mine. I wanted to get in. It actually wasn't too crazy. We ended up being numbers, I think 67 and 68, and there were only maybe 200 people. And so the whole process, you get there, you go through security and check in, and then you wait in this line that wraps around where you do your paperwork. It's just basically saying, you can be on TV and stuff like that. The line actually went really quickly. I was surprised, but I did talk to people in the line. I had no idea what to expect. And these 2 men had been visiting from the East Coast, and they actually came to the show the day before. They were really trying to get on. They were trying to wear different fun shirts. They had some Hawaiian. I think one of them had flamingos on it. They told me all about what to expect. They're like, "You're gonna go into this room and just act really excited because they're interviewing people. They wanna see who to put on the show." I did not know every single person was going to be interviewed. I also didn't know that it was going to be so quick. I also had really bad timing, and I had to go to the bathroom. I don't know if we were supposed to be in the group that went while I was in the bathroom or not. They did make a comment after about don't go to the bathroom until after you've been interviewed. So I ended up being the first person in that group because what happens is you go into this room in a line. And so I knew, oh, I'm going to be the first person they see. I need to be really excited. So I went in just with so much energy. A girl ended up asking me in the end, "Were you just really bubbly during your interview?" I wouldn't say I was bubbly. I was just myself and I was like a confident version of myself. So really they're just going down the line and asking people a couple of quick questions like, "What's your name? What do you do for work? Do you watch The Price is Right?" They also commented on my shirt side, like, "Oh, yeah, that alley red." And I was like, "Yeah, it's rough out here." So they asked me a few things. I didn't think much of it, but my friend was like, "You're going to get chosen." Like, they were talking to you more than others. And I didn't believe it because, I mean, what are the odds? And there was also a part of me that wanted him to be chosen instead of me because even though my car is old, I love it. His car was totaled after hanging out with me one day, and I was like, that would be a good thing. When we finally went back to the studio, which you can't take anything in, no phones, not even a Fitbit, smartwatch, anything at all, no electronics. We went back to the studio and they seat people in a kind of strategic way because I don't think they want all the winners together. And I think they want people who are really excited and even dressed up to be towards the front. There was another guy there in a sequin blazer, and they put him towards the front, and they initially put us in the front, but then they moved us, and part of me was like, "We might be on the list." And also, I kept accidentally making eye contact with the producer assistant who had helped interview us, and I was like, "I'm not trying to be, super eager, but also, is she looking to see where I am? Is there a reason for this?" I didn't expect it at all. My name was one of the first called in the first group. And all I could think of was that's me. That's my name. Like what? After that, I completely blacked out. I didn't know what I was doing from there on out. Because when you think about it, you're like, I just got called down. Now I'm in front of Drew Carey. I get to spin the wheel. Like all these things are happening and it's happening so fast because they do it 3 times a day and they've been doing it for so many years. They have it down. And I think it also helps that people are really nervous, they're, excited, they're like, "What is happening?" And the best thing to do is to just keep us moving, and so we don't have time to stop and be like, "What is happening?" Then we started bidding. The first one, you just don't even know what's going on. It's really hard to hear in the studio too, so you really have to be paying attention and watching the producers. For the first one, it was the person on my left. So in the second one, I was the last one to go, but it was a pizza oven. And my sister and her fiance had just gotten a pizza oven from my mom for Christmas. So I had an idea of how much a pizza oven costs, and I knew that this one was a bit fancier. So I had a good ballpark, and I just had in my head, I was like 1100. I'm saying 1100. I honestly didn't even hear the rest of the bids around me because I was like, that's what I'm saying. And if somebody else says it, then I am sorry. This is a game show. I'm going right above them. But I honestly did not hear anybody's bid. I just said 1100. And then when I was the person who was the closest to the number, I didn't realize it because at first I'm like, oh my God, that's me. And then I was like, wait, is that me? I don't know. I just was so shocked. Then I felt a little embarrassed because what if I just start running down there and it's not me? I realized nobody else is going. So then I started going up there and I'm just so slow. I don't even know what to do because a lot of people run up and they hug him. But we just went through this whole video process where they're showing okay, don't knock him down and stuff, and I respect personal space, so I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Come on." So, yeah, I was just in ultimate shock the whole time. I don't remember what happened. I don't even know what I did. And it's funny because even though I watched this show a lot growing up, I don't watch daytime TV anymore as an adult. It's usually during working hours. When I knew I was gonna go to the show, which again, we didn't have a whole lot of time in between planning and going, I'd been thinking about it for a while. I started watching a lot of the clips on YouTube just to familiarize myself with the games, and I was also just excited. And I specifically remembered the dice game. And I remember thinking, wow, that guy had it so easy, partially because of the game, partially because he was lucky, but he got multiple numbers right and just instantly won a car. They took out the game, and I immediately was just like, I got this. It's funny too because you see people on the show like interacting with the audience, but you cannot see the audience and you cannot hear. And so I'm trying to find one person I came with, and I don't even see him, and I think that even when I rolled the dice and it was kinda obvious what I should do, I was still in the audience, like, "Up," right? Because it's just so fun to interact. I noticed that through a lot of the game that when people are trying to get the audience's help, we were all yelling totally different numbers. But for mine, it was pretty, like, just let whatever happen, happen. And it's also funny, like, if I had gone on this show when I was 18, I feel like I'd be so excited about all of this. But at the time, I've been freelancing and have my own business, and I wasn't really working. So when I have a car in front of me, what was going in my brain was like, taxes, taxes. I'm gonna owe so much on this. And so it was this weird, like, I'm excited, but also that's in the back of my head. And there was a part of me that just didn't believe it. So I won the car and I ran over there and I didn't know what to do with myself. I got in it because that's usually what they do. Then I got out and I told the model, I think Alexis was her name, was the one who was there that day. I was like, I haven't even registered that this just happened. A weird thing that I think is one of my favorite parts is when you're watching the show on TV and a prize, a car, or something is revealed, you don't hear anything. But when you're there, you hear the shutters and they're so loud. It actually sounds really cool. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I just loved listening to the shutters of the prize reveal. The magic is definitely different being in person versus watching it on TV. So for the rest of the show, I sat with the other contestants who just like do paperwork and everything like that. And then we had to go spin the wheel, which I totally forgot about. There was so much excitement that I completely forgot that I got to spin the wheel, which honestly was another piece of my goal. Like I wanted to go to the Price is Right. Even better if I was a contestant, and I didn't even care if I win anything. If I get to be a contestant, spin the wheel, that is really cool. Winning something, especially like a car, very not likely, but it happens. It was overall just a really cool day. I talked to one of the other guys who won. I talked to him a lot. The person who ended up winning the showcase was actually in my interview group. His whole friend group was in there. They were sitting near me after I had gone up there and they asked me, "Do you need a new car? Like, you didn't just buy a new car, right?" And I was like, "I have a 2006, a solid '06. I have been told multiple times, don't get rid of that car. It is running forever. It is hard for me to let go of my old car because, I mean, I have to pay the taxes some way. It's likely gonna be giving out my car. I don't need 2 cars, especially in LA. It's hard to find parking for 1 car. I saw the 2 guys, again, who were in the line that were trying to get on the show. They congratulated me, they were really nice. Everyone was just so kind, and it was a really exciting time. Even my friend who I went with, I think he had a great time. He said that everyone was congratulating him, thinking he won a car too, assuming we were married. That was funny. And the hardest part is that for the past months, I have not been able to talk about it. The coolest thing in my life just happened, and I can't tell anybody. Between the 2 of us, we were sharing this secret, and it was really fun. It wasn't the only secret we had. You do have, like, 30 days to forfeit the winning if you want. It's crazy, but it was something I considered just because of where I was at the time and thinking about how much the taxes might be. It was this weird mindset thing I had where I was like, wow, this timing is really not great because I would love to have done this when I have a garage, when I can afford the taxes. But at the same time, this is so cool. And this is such a blessing. I don't regret going the time that we did at all, one bit. Timing can always be better for things. Timing is never perfect. I don't have the car yet. I also don't have the pizza oven yet. The episode, by the time this comes out, it will have just aired. And I do have a license plate frame that says, I won this car and the price is right. I don't really have road rage, but I can never have it with this. I do not want to get into any trouble at all and be like, that girl on The Price is Right is being a meanie. It was just a really cool experience. Like, this has been a goal of mine literally since I was young. I used to grow up watching The Price is Right every Saturday morning, 10 a.m., while eating breakfast. So this is crazy because you can't control what's going to happen. And I thought that I was just going to go to the game show and watch it and have a great time. And I suggest it to anybody else. Get tickets, they're free because it's even just a fun time to go. If you want more information on going, listen to the other podcasts, it's episode number 5, Go to the Price is Right, where I interview Lauren, who also has been on the show. And I'd be so curious if any of you are inspired to go from this and how that goes and what you think. Leave a comment, let me know. Follow for more goals. Thank you so much for listening.